Voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
Hello everyone and welcome to Whovian Reviewian, the Modular Media Doctor Who podcast. I am one of your hosts, Simeon the Vacuuminator Scott. I am joined, as always, by Bill Forsyth. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Been better, but I'm on this side of the dirt, so I can't complain.
Very clean. And we are also joined this week by the podcast ditching Chris Boingo writer Gaston. How does it feel to be back in America after that coronation, which was, found out Ben actually fudged some documents, and now he can't be on the podcast because he's on the run from the law. But I assume that coronation was really fun to be at.
Technically speaking, he abdicated, but we won't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole situation just came out of nowhere. Tess.
All right. So today
That joke was already old when we started.
Indeed. So today we are going to be talking about our first classic story. This is from the Fifth Doctor Peter Davison era. We are talking about the 4-part serial Snakedance. This was my and Chris's first time seeing this. Bill has seen it before because he's seen just about everything, but he also hadn't seen it in quite a while. So to start off, I'm going to let Chris, you tell us a little bit about what you thought about this episode, since you hadn't really had any experience with classic series going into this, whereas I've seen a handful of stuff.
Yeah, I think the only classic thing is like the first part of a serial of the Fourth Doctor, and I was like, no, I'm not in the mood for this right now, and then it just never did. Watching this, I was like, oh, that's why I don't like a lot of modern live action television. It's because I like the aesthetic of things done on a budget. Like, you can tell that they wanted to do more, and it's like they had to compromise, and I like that aesthetic. I don't know why, but it was fun. It was a thinky kind of plot. It wasn't like twist and how best way to put it. It wasn't twisty turny psychological on our end, but it was very much okay. We got to think our way out of this problem. How are we going to do it? Less punchy, more talky.
There's an actual story behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a thing. A thing that you find with a lot of classic Doctor Who episodes that people talk about quite often is because there was, number one, no money, and number two, no technology for elaborate special effects, they were forced to rely on good storytelling to keep the show interesting. And I think that's something that has kind of disappeared in the newer stuff, where they're, number one, the episodes are short and the stories are so short, they don't really have time to do a lot of really good storytelling consistently.
Yeah, it definitely is more hit or miss in the storytelling department.
I'm not saying that the new ones have no story. I'm just saying that it's, again, as you said, hit or miss.
it's a different focus in storytelling.
Yes.
Because you can tell excellent storytelling just with physical action.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at Shakespeare.
Yeah, Shakespeare is very much verbose, and the best people who can adapt Shakespeare are the ones who can take that verbosity and turn it into action.
Well, it's also, a lot of Shakespeare's plays are performed with little or no set changes or props in general.
Oh yeah, because they didn't have the capability for it. Even though they have some of the best fucking stage direction in the world. Exit right, pursued by bear.
That's about as much as you need.
Yeah, but it's a different focus in storytelling, which was nice. It was very much, okay, here's the setup. We need to figure out how to get from point A to point Z, and we need to make sure we hit G on the way.
Yeah. Yes. And it's interesting how there's a lot of kind of side notes in this episode, or story, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to refer to it as an episode because that's just what I'm used to. But
Yeah, and it felt a lot like jumping in the middle of like an ongoing comic series.
Yeah, and that's
because
kind of the way classic Who is.
Yeah, but it's like jumping in number 50 in X-Men and going like, okay, I can kind of follow their relationships and kind of get a feel. Like, I have a feeling they've met Damara before and did something to Tegan, but I don't know what. And this is just the aftermath of it.
Well, if you had come last time, you would have known that, because we discussed it at length.
It's a sequel to a previous story, basically.
Yeah, it is.
A previous story that I have not seen and forgot to watch before watching this.
Yeah, that was my only complaint with the random choice for this week, was you kind of got thrown in at the deep end and had to do an awful lot of backstory. Because, of course, the old series, for anybody who doesn't know, which I'm sure everybody does, but the old season, the stories were not just one episode. They were 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 6 episodes. So to catch up on the episodes that this is the sequel to requires you to watch not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 additional episodes.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
So there's a lot of background research you have to do, quote unquote, to be able to get up to speed.
Yeah, I just kind of took what Bill had told me at the end of the last episode and used that knowledge to kind of cushion myself of, the Mara was a thing, this doctor and these companions have encountered it before, okay, go.
I mean, I kind of got the gist. It's a weird, evil psycho snake.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean,
which is very obviously a paper mache puppet whenever it shows up, but like,
hey, it's not just paper mache. They painted it with latex. They painted it with latex paint. Come on, give them some credit.
No, they may not have. They didn't have bubble wrap until the 1970s.
It's one of those effects that's very charming in the sort of between the lions way of, this is very weird and obviously fake, but it's entertaining nonetheless because of that.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I was saying. I was like, I think the better way to put it is like, I don't like low budget aesthetic. I like the aesthetic of they tried as hard as they could, and like they couldn't quite reach it, but they got close enough. Because with a lot of like a modern kind of storytelling and modern TV in this kind of vein, like Arrow, they nail it because they have the budget to do it, and it's like, oh, okay.
Because people think of TV and streaming services as being where the money is now, whereas this was back in the time where TV was really looked down upon as like, if you're a TV actor, you need to get movie work or you're going to fall into obscurity.
Especially because this is England, so it's on the BBC, which was all based on taxes, right? It's like BBC's taxing. That's how they produce a lot of their shows, isn't it?
I know the BBC is publicly funded, but I'm not sure exactly how.
Because they have like a weird, like to own a TV and get the BBC, you have to pay a tax.
It was not a tax. I think it was technically a license, is what they called it. But yeah, okay. you got charged per TV to watch the BBC.
Yeah, because I remember Fact Fiend making a video talking about the vans that would go around to try and scare people because they said, "Oh, we can tell if you're not paying your fee," and it's like they couldn't. They were just bluffing.
Yeah.
So
it was daylight robbery.
It's a more well-funded PBS.
Yes.
Kinda, yeah. So we talked a little bit about the effects already. What did you guys think of some of the set and costume design in this episode? Because it's one of those things that's either going to hit just right for you or it's going to be a little too off to the side.
I love how this medieval fantasy-esque styled world, taking elements from Byzantine clothing and jewelry, has mid-70s modern architecture and furniture.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of Dune for people who have read those books.
Which is funny because you consider this is from the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
Yeah, but a lot of that furniture is like, oh, they went to a thrift store.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that is true. That really is true. Either that or the BBC has bought the furniture new and has not yet replaced it.
Or
yeah,
it's
no, and I'm
handmade-
not blaming. I'm not blaming them for it. I think it looked and fit the world that they were making. They like that. That's a good thing, is being able
They
to
built
work
the
with.
world around this stuff rather than trying to shove this stuff into a world they had already made.
Especially because the only time you see those kind of elements is when you're in the fucking royal palace, and it's like, oh, these are rich people. These are rich assholes.
Yeah.
That's why they have all this nice looking shit.
That's why they have this weird spiral staircase that looks like it's going to break if you step on it too hard.
Knowing the way the sets were designed, it probably would.
But
Yeah,
and-
I just... No, go ahead, Chris.
the one hallway scene, like I'm glad the first time I'm on an episode of this podcast, it has one of those hallway sets that is just generic crossways with a couple things, and they use it like 3 times going around it. I'm so glad I saw that.
Run up and down lots of corridors.
Yes, I'm right in front of you.
And I like the second, like they went around the corner, and I was like, okay, cool. They're doing things, and then like 5 minutes later, they went around the same corner. I was like, yes, thank you. You have filled my heart with joy.
I thought the set the doctor of the prison the doctor and Nissa were stuck in for a little bit was really cool. That felt like it was out of a little bit harder of a sci-fi thing, like maybe Alien or something like that. It kind of fit that aesthetic.
Oh God. Excuse me.
There it goes. We got our first burp on the podcast. You okay over there?
Not gonna be the last. It ain't gonna be the last.
I also I can't decide if I love or hate that the fact that the cave they explicitly state was naturally formed has a giant snake head for the entrance. And not even like a faux rocky one of like, oh, I can kind of see it. No, it's straight up just a plastic snake head.
I mean, who says their cavemen didn't have snakes and could put it plastic and put one up there?
Fair enough.
It was the Mara's influence. Just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Evil Snake knows how to make plastic. That's just how science works.
Yeah. Let's see, other design elements I want to talk about. Oh yeah, there is that. I'm looking at Google Images right now. There's that fucking outfit from the last episode that the guy wears for the ceremony.
You mean the guy wearing fucking Andy's wall from Toy Story?
Yes, that's literally what he's wearing. And they keep going like, oh, it's a marvelous outfit. It fits you so well. And I'm like,
the Emperor has no clothes.
Yeah.
Man wearing kinky ass gloves up to his like shoulder, and it's like,
it's
I just want to drag queen to come onto set and go like, honey, no.
It's insane because this is a character who already looks like midlife Macaulay Culkin and has the personality of David Bowie.
You know who that guy is?
Who?
Time traveling. What?
Doc Martin.
Who?
Oh, honestly.
Fuck it, Googling.
It's a TV drama series from England.
Well, considering that we're fucking American, home of Screeching Eagles and Red, White, and Blue.
I forgot you're both uncultured.
Bitch! I'm very cultured, asshole.
I've never heard.
Obviously, I can tell from your diction.
Kill me if he wanted to. Now, was this like some kind of mystery show, or?
Yeah, it was a kind of a sitcom / drama / whatever.
So a BBC show that's not Doctor Who.
ITV, not BBC.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm just gonna say it. He aged remarkably well. He looks better now.
He still fucking looks like a time traveling Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. But he looks like a time traveling Macaulay Culkin that could beat you up now. Which is an improvement from just weird look.
Yeah, but like regular Macaulay Culkin can probably beat you up.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he looks feisty.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in that wrestling video.
He could definitely roast the shit out of me. Have you seen his wit in some of the recent YouTube videos he's been in?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's too much else to talk about set design wise.
One thing I will point out before we move on.
Yeah.
Take a good long look at that TARDIS console. This will be the last season you will see it for a long time.
Really?
Actually, no, not for a super long time. This TARDIS console was the one that Tom Baker used primarily for many seasons. And by this point, if you look closely at it, it looks, what's the kind word, careworn. Because it has been climbed on, bumped on, run into, blown up, etc. by the special effects department so many times at this point, it was literally falling apart.
Wow.
And so they said, we've got to do something about it, and so they built a new one, and the new one will debut at the end of this season in the Five Doctors special.
Huh.
This console will come back, however, in the Two Doctors from 1985 with Colin Baker and Patrick Troughton as Patrick Troughton's TARDIS console. They actually apparently didn't throw this console away like they were supposed to, and they found it in one of the back storage rooms, and they said, "Oh, perfect! We'll just put this, respray paint it and put it up again, and it'll work." And nice. I do believe this is citation needed, but I do believe the time rotor from this TARDIS still exists and is still in the BBC prop house.
Speaking of props, I love how the Doctor just had a couple of Apple AirPods hanging around.
Yeah. That's a nice little instance of a sci-fi show predicting the future. Air quotes.
They just look like AirPods, and it's just like, okay then, cool.
Yeah. You know what was my favorite part of the whole story?
No, but I have a feeling you're going to tell us.
Yeah. Yes, I am. Wow, you're
or else
such
it'd be a wholly. Unless if you wouldn't, that would have been a very unsatisfying conversation.
So the whole episode, we've got this snotty professor guy who's like, "Oh, I know everything about the Mara and this ancient subject," and blah 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 blah. And there's the scene where the Doctor goes to try and convince him to help, and he shows him this artifact that's supposed to depict 6 faces of doom. And the guy doesn't realize that it's a headdress, which means his face is the 6th face. He thinks it's inaccurate. I'm like, that should immediately discredit this guy for the entire rest of the story.
Universe.
I'm sorry?
So that sounds like every academic in the universe. I have seen something I can't explain, therefore it must be unexplainable.
If I couldn't have built it, aliens must have.
Yeah. Like, right then and there, his assistant should have been like, wow, you're an idiot. Maybe I should trust this guy. But no, we drag it out for another few episodes, which is fine. It was just hilarious to me the second time around.
Yeah.
I also really like Peter Davidson's portrayal in this episode because it's playing against not only what we kind of associate the Doctor as, but his Doctor. His Doctor is known as one of the more kind doctors, but he's very like, we've got to get this done. We've got to go. Why are you standing there? Why aren't you listening to me? Let's do this. Because this is a sequel to a previous story. He knows this threat, and he knows it has to be dealt with swiftly.
Agreed.
Also, imagine to go.
So he's also very worried about one of his companions, and the funny thing is, these Nissa and Tegan are the two companions that he really bonds with. You can, especially by this point in the series, because he's had a full season with them, and he really does genuinely care for them.
Yeah. I mean,
power of friendship.
Yeah.
Well,
Doctor Who is like a harem away from being an anime.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, if you look at the current Doctor, she's kind of got a harem.
Yeah, a reverse harem. Yeah. A bi harem.
Yeah.
Add in a panty shot and you're full on anime.
Oh, good lord. Okay, so I'm at a bit of a loss. What else would you guys like to discuss with this episode?
I don't know.
You're the one who picked it.
Yeah.
I didn't pick it. It was randomly selected, sir.
Computer picked it.
Yeah.
You're the one who validated the choice.
Well, we don't generally do rerolls around here. Oh god, the entire format of the show is falling around me. Somebody do something silly.
No. Fuck you.
Well, damn.
That was hysterically funny. Do it again.
No, it's got to come out of nowhere.
So,
I don't have my accordion. I can't break into a random song. Sorry.
Oh man.
So, Bill, I don't have an incredible amount of experience with the character of Tegan. How does her performance in this episode differentiate her from other episodes?
Way to put me on the spot. Thank you.
Well, apparently she hears voices in her head. They speak to her.
They talk to her. They understand.
This episode, I will say, Tegan is. This is actually one that struck me that has borne some thinking over. Tegan is traditionally, through the history of her character, very brash, very loud, very impetuous, I guess you would say, much to the good-natured exasperation of the Doctor.
Mm.
And in this episode, she is much more laid back. And I think if it was done on purpose, it does convey a sense of terror because she knows what's going on too, as we've dealt with this threat before. And you can tell she's, genuinely worried. She's not herself.
Yeah.
So I think it's a marked departure from the normal portrayal of her character, but I think it is one that is done to good effect.
Would you say it's an evolution?
No. Well, I would.
That was a joke.
I'm well aware.
Sorry, Bill. Our entire shtick is wrestling references.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be quiet.
I mean, come on. There was a snake. Come on.
I might have to make the opening theme to this episode Randy Orton's entrance theme. Just freak a whole bunch of people out.
I'm going to go back to reharmonizing music. I don't have to take this.
It's good to hear that this isn't her normal performance because I did enjoy it, but I also enjoy it on the level of I don't think this would work regularly. This is
no. She's much too reserved in this episode, but you can tell it's because she's got. I mean, pun not intended, but she has a lot on her mind.
Yeah. And the moments where the Mara has fully taken over her are also really cool because you just get this sense of terror of she is not herself compared to the normal one where she's kind of laid back and worried and trying to figure out what's going on. The scene right after she scares the crap out of the fortune teller and Nissa finds her again, I was like, what this is not how people who hang out with the Doctor normally act.
Yeah, no, she was very out of it for this episode, which, I mean, honestly, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Spooky shit was going down, man.
Yeah. Nissa was cool too, but only really in the kind of worried mother hen role that she was playing throughout this.
Which is pretty much Nissa's character.
Yeah, but her clothes screamed 80s.
Oh my god, that first scene where she comes out and goes, "What do you think?" I'm like, it looks like you're wearing a dish rag.
Honestly, it's funny because if you look at their clothes between this season and the previous season, even Peter Davidson said this in an interview, but he said the previous season they were swathed from head to toe. There was no skin showing, whatever. And he said, and the next season they suddenly lost all of their clothes.
I mean, the first thing I thought when I saw Tegan is like, why is she just running around in a nightie?
Oh my god. That is an apt description.
It just looks like a nightie.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily be wrong.
And I do love how everybody's got, except for Tegan, who, because she's evil, she's got it 10 times as much. Everybody in this has very subtle eye makeup. Like, I even noticed some on Peter Davidson in one scene. It's like, it's clearly, this is the 80s. Everybody's face has to look good.
Yeah. This was middle of the road 80s, so
yeah.
There were also lots of political changes inside the BBC, getting ready, either happening or getting ready to happen.
Yeah, I noticed in the credit, is this a early John Nathan Turner episode?
John Nathan Turner, I believe, has been around since Tom Baker.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly when he took over, but it was late in Tom Baker's line. I'll have to look back. Carry on while I look on.
So how about all that stuff where they keep cutting back to the old man?
Yeah, that was an old man.
Yeah. it was one of those weird things where, like, until the last episode, you have no idea why they're doing it.
It's very economical editing in this whole thing, because it would cut to a scene that would last like 30 seconds and be just exactly what it needed to be. It was like very economical. Like, they did no fluff, 3 camera setup, done like a sitcom. Get the scene, get done, edit it in.
Which is weird because, like, people normally associate Classic Who as being padding city, but this felt very much like we said at the start: do what you need to do, get out. And I appreciate that. I feel like it was a good way to get both me and you more into classic stuff.
To answer your earlier question, John Nathan Turner took over as producer in 1980, which was Tom Baker's last season. So this was Peter Davidson's second season, so this was his third season really in the seat. So that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, this definitely does have, like, a certain air of his era, but it doesn't feel like the overly shite stuff we got later on.
Well, that was actually not necessarily all his fault.
Yeah,
just as Peter Davidson left, the controller of the BBC who took over basically decided he hated science fiction in general and tried everything in his power to can Doctor Who, up to and including, giving them giving conflicting instructions to the producing staff, saying, give me more comedy, give me less comedy, with less money, as less violence, more less serious, more serious.
So being Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this was also about the time when they did Warriors of the Deep, which was one of the episodes that is cited.
I am dreading when we get to that one.
Say what?
I am dreading us getting to that one.
I don't know. I'd kind of prefer Warriors of the Deep over Absorbaloff, whatever that one was.
Love and Monsters. I
think they're both about equal in level of shitness, but Warriors of the Deep is 4 episodes, where Love and Monsters is only 1.
Yeah. Ooh. That's an interesting debate for a future episode.
I think we should do that.
I remember not hating that episode.
I think we should do a comparison episode, and then we can take those 2 episodes out of the list.
Yes. So one other thing I want to bring up real quick. There's a scene in one of the later episodes of the serial where they kind of divert to do a puppet show and sort of foreshadow future events. What did you guys think of that scene? Because first time around, I thought it was really annoying and random and like, why are we taking time out of the episode for this? Second time around, I thought it was cool because of the foreshadowing elements.
My first thought was just, oh, why are they bringing those old English puppets into this?
Yeah.
Because I can't remember their name. It's like
Punch and Judy.
Yeah, Punch and Judy. And it's like, okay, why are they here? I mean, I get it. It's like a thing. It's just to show the people that are in the city, but like.
And I love how they keep cutting to reaction shots from like the most bored-looking kids I've ever seen in my life. Like they looked like they were only looking in that direction because somebody was jangling keys.
Well, unfortunately, they can't get everything right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I've hit on just about everything there is to talk about. So, do you guys have anything you want to say on this episode, or should we move on to final thoughts?
Do you have any final thoughts, or should we move on to final thoughts?
Final thoughts or final thoughts? I'm more partial to final thoughts.
I would prefer final thoughts.
Well, I guess that's the final thought.
What? Why did I think 2 co-hosts was a good idea?
I don't know. But I do know one thing.
What?
Dummy thick.
Oh, good God, no. Okay. Time to select the next episode. No, this is a pretty solid little serial. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And, makes me want to check out more Fifth... Yeah. Makes me want to check out more Fifth Doctor stuff in the future.
It was okay. It wasn't a big enough hook to get me hooked into watching more. Mm-hmm. It was okay television.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a hook. It's more just like, okay, this is what this is like. It's not bad. I could definitely do with more of it in the future, but I don't need it, Yeah.
You just gotta suck it in. If you're into Tin or Anne Boleyn.
I have to say, Peter Davidson is one of my favorite doctors, just because of his mannerisms.
Yeah, like I said, he gave a great performance in this episode.
All right, so what am I making jokes about now?
The fact that we're gonna select the next episode to talk about. Yay!
Huzzah!
All right. So next time on Whovian Reviewian, we will be discussing 13th Doctor. Oh wow, we're going straight to 13. Okay, the Tsranga Conundrum. I don't remember how to pronounce that. I will put the name of the episode in the chat. I think this is middle of her first season.
It's a conundrum to say it, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
But
not being able to pronounce a word.
Yeah. But hey, we're discussing a recent episode that most of us have seen, but still aren't extremely familiar with. So that should be interesting.
Speak for yourself.
Speaking for myself and Bill. Wait, did you actually watch this season when I put it on Google Drive for you?
Yes, I did.
I didn't. Just making sure. Well, I thought.
Well, this is the Kablam one.
No, that's Kerblam. Kerblam is the Kablam one.
Oh, sorry. This is the Pating.
Oh,
the motherfucker!
Ooh, this is an interesting episode because I think I have picked up on some foreshadowing in this season, and this is one of the episodes where it happens.
I look forward to hearing about that.
Yeah.
But we'll find out next time. And Chris, I'll give you the link to that Google Drive folder I put up for Bill, assuming I never deleted it. Because I didn't give it to you originally just because I didn't think you cared enough to watch the season. But, yeah, I'll get you that link. We'll watch this episode and we'll be back in a month. But until then, Bill, where can people find you and all the stuff you do?
Same place as I've been saying for the last 2 times.
Cool. Chris, where can people find you and all that you do?
I'm on YouTube at Boingo Writer. I am on Twitter at Boingo_Writer. I'm on Instagram at Boingo_Writer. And if you want to join my Discord server, it is in the description.
Excellent. I am Simeon Scott, that Simeon Scott to be specific. You can find me on Twitter at
I thought you were the
Scott.
other Simeon Scott.
No. I'm that Simeon Scott.
Oh,
Which one?
Not the other Simeon Scott, not that Simeon Scott over there, but that Simeon Scott. That specific
Which one are you?
The one I'm pointing to, damn it.
It's just a shame.
I
It's
can't
a shame.
see you. Point harder.
Just know it's not this Simeon Scott, it's that Simeon Scott. And you can find me on Instagram at that Simeon Scott, but with underscores. I make YouTube videos. You can find all of them by going to thatsimeonscott.com. Takes you to a playlist of every video I've ever made. I'm the guy behind the Vacuuminator saga and a lot of other shit. And, that's basically it. But this podcast is brought to you by Modular Media, the collaborative. I wrote this shit down. I swear to God. It's
Creative collaboration cooperation.
Creative collaboration cooperation. There we go. All right.
Because
We're the free
beginning of a co-op.
Yeah.
Worker co-op.
And we make podcasts. We've all got a bunch of stuff going on. We want to get videos on this channel eventually, but that'll be coming when it can. But for now, if you want to get more of this podcast, go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell, all that fun stuff. If you want to listen to it on the go, there's a Google Drive folder linked in the video description where you can download an MP3. If you want to keep up with when the podcast will be coming out, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Modular Media and subscribe to our subreddit, r/Modular Media. And that's pretty much it. So we will see you next time when we'll be talking about the conundrum. And until then, we're off into time and space.
I hear voices crying. I see heroes dying. I taste blood that's trying. I feel tension.